In this video, I'd like to look at a Flask app that runs two routes, and they're just going to have hard-coded HTML. So this is just the next step beyond the hello world, which I did in a previous video. So I had closed my Visual Studio Code and opened it back up. I have a new Python program in the venv folder that I established, but right now my terminal's not in that venv, the virtual environment, and it is not activated. So I'm going to move into the venv with command cd venv, and then I would like to also activate my virtual environment. And for me, the activate is under scripts. I'm on a Windows machine, Mac or Ubuntu. It might be in a bin. And so that is scripts/activate. And now I have the green telling me my virtual environment is activated. And now I want to then run, I'm going to post this, and I have all these commands also in a long comment. And the next thing I want to do is previously we were running hello, now we want to run two routes. So I'm establishing that as the Flask app of interest. And I'm going to, there are different ways I'm running this from the command line and with a PowerShell way. And there are other ways to run these things, but this is how I run it. And I'll show you something at the end, which is supposed to help debug. But for me, the way I'm running, this is the way to allow me to sort of help debug. And it's just another environment variable that we're allowing Flask debugging. And then I'm going to Flask run, and then I'll show you what I've got, and then I'll show you the code that got us there. So it's doing the virtual web server, control click, and here is a page it made. It's making two pages. This is the default route page, as I'm calling it. And then I have one that is just at this other route. And there is this one at this other route. And then in terms of the debugging, I will add I don't know, more lame stuff. Some additional code. I will do a save. And that was on the default route. So let me go back to the default route, refresh the page, and there is the new page. So that came about because of this debugging. Then I could change the page, save the page, and refresh the page, and it would see my changes. Okay, so this was just one long comment. Here we are. How did we get this? Import Flask, establish a Flask app, establish a route within the Flask app, define a function that is going to I'll say handle that route. And it's just a big return. So we've just written a multi-line return. So the three quotes is a multi-line quote, and a multi-line string literal. And it's just some basic HTML sort of hard code. And then I have the other route. So another route function for it, and then also returning here just some different HTML. So these are hard-coded HTML pages. Again, we're just one step above the hello world at this stage, saying that we can get multiple routes, that we can send it HTML since it is a web server after all, and then we can do some debugging. And here is the code. If you're starting it up a different way, again, the command line way I'm doing it, it's handled by a command, but there you can sort of allow debugging if you're starting within Visual Studio Code if you're running your Flask differently, then you can have this code that will allow some debugging. And again, I think the first time I was doing it, I needed to close Visual Studio and start it again, but it did work. But now I tend to do the command line way, and this is the command line way. Okay, that's what I wanted to show you. Thanks for your attention.